So Suicide Squad has hit the theaters, and the reaction to the film has been, well, let's say mixed to be kind. The critics didn't love it, although it's not like they all hated it at 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. That means if you get 10 film critics in a room, almost 3 of them liked it, right? Which is, if you think about it in terms of a test, is still a failing grade. If you watched Film HQ last week, you'll know that I enjoyed Suicide Squad. I was one of the 26. As a matter of fact, I also like Batman v Superman, and I absolutely love Man of Steel before that. But I know I'm in a minority. So I guess I have to acknowledge that the DC films, for whatever reason, are not resonating with the audience on a wide scale, or obviously the critics on any sort of a scale at all. Why? There are several excuses people try to make. Excuses like audiences don't understand what DC's going for. Excuses like the film critics just biased against DC. There is absolutely no basis for these excuses. Are we forgetting that prior to Man of Steel, critics and audiences absolutely loved the Nolan Batman films, giving them scores of 84, 94, and 87% respectively just a few short years ago? They, however, were Nolan films, so the consistency of the vision going forward may have been lost at the DC movie universe, which up until recently didn't even exist. Honestly, and I'm not going to mince words, Warner Brothers simply hasn't made these recent DC films good enough to win over the audiences or the critics to the levels that they should have. Yes, they've been good enough to appeal to people like me, but not good enough. Not good enough for movies that have iconic characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Joker. Box office hauls like $870 million for Batman v Superman tell one story. But the over $1 billion it could have made had the movie been a bit better tells another. This tells us that DC has characters that audiences want to see on the big screen. So what should DC and Warner Brothers do? Well, they're kind of doing it. Ben Affleck, one of the best filmmakers working in the business today, has been elevated to the role of executive producer, which means the mind behind movies like Argo and Gone Girl will take these legendary characters and give us the story we've been begging for. Good move. But they weren't finished, because then DC legend Jeff Johns was named president and chief creative officer at DC. Is it too soon to call him DC's version of Kevin Feige? Maybe, but at the very least we can see Warner Brothers making leadership moves to give fans more confidence in the properties. And finally, fans should also feel good knowing that Warner Brothers is listening to the feedback from both Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Historically, something studios do not do. They are eager to give the fans thrilling, exciting, and entertaining films that everyone, audiences and critics alike, can celebrate. Because at the end of the day, we want to love these movies. So, has DC stumbled a little bit recently? Sure, but at least they're recognizing their shortcomings. Because the Joker might tell you that insanity, by definition, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm Campea, and this has been Film HQ.